My name is Chelsea Norton. I'm 39. 22 years ago, when I was in 11th grade and pregnant, my parents threw me out, called me a failure, and slammed the door in my face. Today they stood at my Austin doorstep, pounding as if they owned the place, and demanding, "Let us see the child, our grandchild." I opened the door, my hand steady, though I felt furious, and told them a truth they never expected. "What child? What are you?" Their faces went white, their eyes widened as the words landed like a deserved blow. That moment was only the spark. For 22 years I'd been building something they could never touch, waiting for the chance to set a plan in motion that would dismantle what they prized. They assumed suing me would force my hand, claiming rights to a legacy they'd abandoned. They were wrong. What followed exposed their greed, turned allies away, and left them pleading for mercy they wouldn't receive. If you've ever wanted retribution against those who betrayed you, stay with this story. There's more to come. Before we continue, if this kind of comeuppance resonates, like and subscribe for more stories about justice. Drop a comment saying where you're watching from and the local time. Let's see how far this tale reaches. That doorstep confrontation reopened wounds I'd thought closed. The deepest pain came from my parents' rejection. Patrick Norton and Andrea Norton, faces contorting with disgust when I showed them the pregnancy test, in our Austin living room, the air heavy with their judgment. "You're no daughter of ours anymore," Dad said coldly, adjusting his watch as if I'd become a bad investment. He avoided looking at me, treating me like I didn't exist. Mom didn't shout. She inspected her nails and said, "We expected better from you. Not this mess that ruins our name." Her words cut harder than a scream. They gave me 10 minutes to pack, turned our family photo face down as if erasing me. The click of the frame against the mantel sounded like a final verdict. I grabbed clothes, a little savings, and the necklace I'd hidden. The door closed behind me, locking me out into the Texas night. Then came Derek Sloan's abandonment. The boy who'd whispered promises at prom, whose hand on my waist had felt like forever. He said, "It's over." When I told him, his voice steady at first. Days later his number was blocked. His parents' lawyers sent a letter denying everything and warning of legal action if I contacted him. His college future mattered more than us. I was left alone with the fear growing inside me. His silence stung because he'd been my escape from home. Austin's streets became my reality, sleeping on benches in Zilker Park, rationing tears to keep going, humid air clinging to my skin while I avoided stares. Each rejection, my parents' dismissal and Derek's cowardice, stripped me bare and taught me how fragile trust can be. I promised myself I'd make them pay, not with raging anger, but with a smarter response, turning their greed against them, one calculated step at a time. That's when Kayla Rodgers found me, an older widow in her 70s, walking her dog at dawn. Her cashmere coat contrasted with my worn jacket. Her eyes were sharp but kind when she saw me curled up. "You're freezing out here, child," she said in a warm Texas drawl. Seeing through my insistence that I was fine, she sat with me as I broke down, holding me like I mattered, then invited me for breakfast with her dog Max. No questions asked. Her car smelled of lavender. The drive to her spacious downtown home felt like an escape. The heated seats thawed more than my numb body. Kayla didn't just give me shelter in one of her hotel's spare rooms. She became my mentor. Over coffee she taught me survival and how to convert pain into power. "Build yourself so strong they regret letting you go," she told me. "Use their weaknesses as tools." She put me to work as a hostess in her hotel chain, teaching me to read guests, turn complaints into loyalty, and spot profit leaks. She showed me inventory, scheduling, and margins in her office. Lessons in business that doubled as training in patience and strategy, preparing me for the day they might return. Her investigators quietly looked into my parents' lives, without my knowing. Her guidance became my foundation. Every shift taught resilience with demanding patrons. Every office session drilled patience as the key to outlasting opponents. One evening, while she was updating her will amid stacks of paperwork, she introduced me to Shah Barrett, her lawyer, calm-eyed and adept at finding contract loopholes. His handshake was firm when he sat down. Kayla explained, over coffee that turned into strategy, that Shah wasn't only for paperwork, he was protection against the unexpected. Sean became part of my circle. His advice sharpened my strategy. Trust structures that locked assets, and evidence trails designed to catch the careless in their own words. Then Shannon Lyle joined from the hotel's IT desk. Her expertise in tracing digital footprints turned casual conversations into lessons in discreet monitoring. Fingers flying over the keyboard, she demonstrated firewalls and monitoring techniques. We bonded over late-night system fixes as she taught me how to observe without leaving traces. Slowly, I assembled a team that felt like armor against the past. After the miscarriage emptied me for weeks, Kayla guided me through adoption at a Texas shelter. Her contacts sped the paperwork as we went to visit. I found Austin Norton, a baby with curious eyes that matched my resolve. Tiny hands closing around mine as if he already understood. I named him after the city that broke and rebuilt me, raising him with love and also as part of a longer plan enrolling him in coding camps early to shape his mind into something unmistakable. His first program at 8 signaled the potential I intended to develop. By 10, he was building apps that solved real problems, results that were deliberate, not accidental. I knew his success would one day draw attention, their envy exposing vulnerabilities. Kayla organized everything into preparation, legal protections that barred abandoned relatives from claims, a safe with a code tied to Austin's adoption date as a daily reminder, and video recordings in her study, documenting warnings about greed's blind spots. Her recorded messages, direct to camera, called out those who discard family. Over dinners at her home, we practiced scenarios, Kayla role-playing their excuses to teach counter-responses. Her laughter was sharp when I answered correctly. I built my enterprise step by step, expanding hotel operations and investing in Austin's tech scene until my presence cast a shadow over their lives. Each success was another move in the plan Kayla and I had designed. The trap was set, and they took the bait. I began by seeding local Austin tech outlets, with stories about Austin's breakthrough software that optimized hotel operations, anonymous tips with technical details about his algorithms to ensure coverage spread through business networks where people like my parents paid attention. The story went viral within hours, headlines praising a local WizKid's sudden industry impact, thousands of shares and comments I tracked, knowing the echoes would reach them via mutual contacts. Days later, a high-end tablet arrived at my desk, wrapped with a card from my parents. For our talented grandson, time to reconnect. Their message thinly masked the real intent, to probe my defense. I returned it with a note, feigning emotional turmoil. This brings back too many painful memories. My handwriting intentionally unsteady. On their follow-up call, my voice wavered enough to suggest fragility and to invite more probing. Shannon immediately dove into their online patterns. Her tools pinged for any searches using Austin's name from their IP addresses, capturing screenshots of their visits to Texas family law pages and forums about reclaiming estranged relative. We cataloged everything, encrypted chats with Derek outlining ways to leverage the child's fame, browser tabs on inheritance claims, and searches for private investigators. My denials only pushed them harder. Each "I can't do this right now" message I sent made them press, escalating to voicemails promising reunion funds and more packages, custom tech gadgets engraved with family crests. When Derek increased his role in their plan, Shannon intercepted his communications, proposals to exploit old guilt for a share of the inheritance. His desperation was clear after his startup failure. The messages showed eagerness to manipulate for quick cash. I dropped hints and calls Shannon had traced, casually mentioning Austin's project might be worth millions if it scaled. Their responses spiked in real time through increased surveillance hits. Their overreach mounted quickly. My parents cornered Austin at a coffee shop near his office, with forced smiles and demands for family time, which I had coached him to deflect politely. Andrea posted on social media about estranged kin seeking closure, but Shannon linked those posts to hired influencers, amplifying a manufactured sympathy campaign, bot-boosted traffic that exposed their staged narrative. Every step baited them into overreaching. Their sloppy emails and calls supplied the ammunition I needed. Their desperation became leverage. I seeded distrust by sending anonymous emails from Shannon's untraceable accounts, one suggesting Derek was skimming reunion funds for his debts, another implying my parents planned to cut Derek out once they secured Austin's wealth. Their replies grew erratic, Patrick demanding answers from Derek, Derek firing back, "You're the one stringing me along." I fed the chaos with fake intel, even telling Andrea in a call that Austin's software patent was valued at $10 million. Her greed sharpened as she leaned toward Patrick and whispered about our stake. Shannon had already rigged recorders to catch every word. Their threats escalated from "you owe us family access" to "we'll sue for what's ours" whenever I avoided them. Derek's voicemails became increasingly brazen, his voice slippery as he pushed, "Think of Austin's future. I'm his father, after all." Unaware of the snare closing around them, I fed their lawyer a doctored document, a mock trust clause implying Austin's fortune required my approval, which set off a frenzy of emails demanding a settlement. Shannon captured every scrap Patrick's late-night searches about grandparent rights in Texas, Derek's encrypted chats with a consultant about exploiting emotional weak spots. I kept my replies measured. "I'm not ready to talk," each refusal stoking their impatience and prompting riskier moves. Their mistrust peaked when Patrick accused Derek in a recorded call, "You're playing us for fools." Derek snapped back, "You never trusted me from the start." Things moved fast. Their lawyer filed suit for visitation and inheritance rights, citing family bonds that had effectively never existed. Shannon intercepted the filing. Her review exposed sloppy mistakes that Sean used to build counter-documents and reveal their falsehoods. My parents' final public plea, an emotional post on an Austin business forum, begging for sympathy and our grandson back, was traced by Shannon to a hired PR firm. The evidence mounted. Their reckless claims collapsed under the weight of their own words in the tightening scrutiny. The stage was set for their exposure. At the Austin Tech Summit, with industry leaders and cameras present, Austin opened his keynote by honoring chosen family and loyalty over blood, his delivery steady in a sharp blazer that signaled his independence. My parents, Patrick and Andrea Norton, and Derek sat in the front row, polished and tense. The screen behind Austin then played Kayla's recorded message. "Calm and authoritative," she declared. "Family is who stands by you, not who claims you when you shine," calling out those who abandon loved ones. The audience quieted as she finished with "cowards who discard their own." Next came the legal blow. Sean walked to the podium with a folder and, in a clinical tone, displayed a document from 22 years earlier projected for all to see. "We, Patrick Norton and Andrea Norton, relinquish all rights to Chelsea Norton and any offspring, born or unborn." Gasps spread through the room. Phones recorded their signatures, unmistakable and damning. Then Shannon's intercepted emails and messages flashed on the screen, revealing plans to exploit Austin's fame and Derek's attempt to play on guilt for financial gain. Their own correspondence exposed the conspiracy. I stood and spoke, my voice steady. I told them they demanded my child, but there was no biological child to claim. Their cruelty drove me to a miscarriage, years ago, and Austin was my adopted son, not their blood. The room murmured. Color left their faces under the weight of that truth. Security moved quickly as Sean announced emergency restraining orders, served then and there, barring Patrick, Andrea, and Derek from contact. Their humiliation was broadcast on tech feeds and spread widely. Video clips of them escorted from the summit racked up millions of views on social platforms. Within days, their small real estate firm lost major contracts as clients cited reputational risk. The company board removed Patrick as chairman. Longtime connections and partnerships unraveled. They sold their Austin home at a loss and relocated to a modest condo in Scottsdale. Their social circle contracted as neighbors and colleagues distanced themselves. Derek's situation deteriorated further. Shannon's contacts at an accounting firm flagged his emails and alerted authorities about offshore accounts. A federal audit followed. uncovering $500,000 in unpaid taxes and leading to charges that carried the possibility of prison time. I offered no leniency. My silence was intentional as their lives collapsed. Their attempts at mediation were ignored while Sean dismantled their legal challenges to Kayla's will in court. From Kayla's estate, I launched the Kayla Rhodes Foundation for young women, funded with $1 million from her legacy to support single mothers in Texas with housing and job training. At the fund's opening, surrounded by beneficiaries, I turned to Sean and pulled a ring from my pocket. "Will you make this family official?" I asked. He accepted with a broad smile as Austin cheered beside us. The foundation's first grant went to a 19-year-old coder, holding her toddler, her eyes bright with the hope I had once lost. The outcome made the point clear: revenge, when executed with patience and structure, can be effective, and protection comes from building a life resilient enough to outshine those who tried to break you.